Right, Etsy sellers, this is going to be fascinating. For the next few minutes, stick with me on this. You're all going to learn something. People ask me, what am I supposed to be doing in my Etsy store, right? I talk about time and where you should be putting all your energies to maximize your revenue. But for the first time, I'm going to actually break down the top 7 things you should be doing in your store, how important they are, and how much time you should be taking over them. There's a structure and flow to running your store, and so many of you are placing your time, which is the most valuable asset you've got, in completely the wrong places and not getting the results you want. Forums, places like Reddit, TikTok, IG, full of bad advice, full of people spending time where it shouldn't be spent. So let's get into this. We've got tasks. So I'm going to list the top 7 tasks. Importance, how important using bars it is. Red, super important, all the way down to green, not important, right? Really easy to visually understand. And then over on the right hand side, time. So if, just because something is really, really important doesn't mean you spend loads of time on it. Do you see? This is the thing. Some of the parts I'm going to mention are really critical, but you shouldn't be spending endless amounts of time on it, right? Let's get into this. Let's understand where you should be spending your time, how important it is, and this will make you more money with your Etsy business. Let's get into this. The first thing, task, listing, okay? So listing overall in the lifetime of your store is the most important thing you can do. Okay, so it gets 4 bars, 4 red bars. It's so, so important, right? You've got to know what you're doing with listing. List consistently, list constantly. It's so important. But the actual time, right? Let's get to the time. The actual time you should be spending on listing is low, right? It's the most important thing that you can do, but you should be spending low amounts of time on it. When I say low amounts of time, I mean, if you're spending, most of you should only be listing 1 or 2 items a day. That should take half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, depending on what you're doing with the photography and video, right? Low amount of time, but it's the most important thing you can do in your store. There's nothing more important than listing, right? But if you're taking 2 hours to list something, 3 hours, that is way, way too long. Your process is out of whack and you need to look at it and realign it to get the time down. 20, 30, 40 minutes listing, no more. And that includes things like SEO, descriptions. We'll get on to SEO later. So look at that, really, really interesting with listing. The next one, right? Look at this, look at the difference. Photography and video, right? This gets slapped with the red bars, okay? Just like listing. It is so, so important, right? Critical. Photography and video is critical to the success of your store. But when you get over to the time side, look at this. It's high, okay? So photography and video are critical, but you've got to spend so much time perfecting it, making it look good, making the emotional attachment there with your buyers, getting that consistency, the lighting, the brightness, not too many props, don't cut off your products. I talk about this stuff all the time, right? So high importance, but high time investment. So you've got to be ready for it and actually prepared to put in the investment of time. See how different it is, photography and video. So now here's one I've never ever mentioned, I believe, on this YouTube channel before. Pipelining, okay? Pipelining, it goes with listing, right? So pipelining is, well, you've got to have a plan. You've got to have listings in the pipeline, right? So your listing, let's just say you're listing 1 or 2 a day, which is what I tell all of you to do. Basically list 1 a day. Once you're making sales and stuff, you can change, you can adapt, you can move. Just list 1 a day. But to do that, you've got to have pipelining. You've got to have listings ready and listings thought about to know where you're going with your listing. So things like seasonality. Right now we're in July, right? It's really, really quiet on Etsy compared to other months. But we should already be planning for autumn and winter if you are seasonal, if you sell seasonal products. So you've got to have a constant idea of what comes next. Pipelining, really, really important, right? And this is a medium level of time, okay? It's not a massive investment of time, but you've got to think about it. You've got to take time, sit down, plan out. You should always be 3, 4, 5 months ahead of where you are at the current time, right? So spend time knowing what's next. If you know what's next, the outcome is more likely for you. If you don't know what's next, how do you know what your outcome is going to be, right? So pipelining, I don't think I've ever mentioned that before. That needs time. It needs energy put into it. The next one, and again, lots of you don't like this, but you have to do it. Research, okay? So you've got to look at what's going on in the market. Sellers still say in 2025, I don't care what my competition is doing. I'm just going to do what I want to do. Well, if you do that, you're going to get the results you've always got. Nothing is going to change. You're not going to improve unless you get lucky. You've got to know what's going on in your marketplace. You've got to know what your competition is up to. You've got to keep an eye on them, right? Just as in the real world, right? With real businesses all over the world, you've got to keep an eye on your competition, okay? And take time with it. So this is another investment of time that's significant, okay? So when I put low, it's minutes, 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes. When I put high, it's days and weeks. When I put medium, it's hours and days, right? So research, decent amount of time. Now we get into the yellow. So yellow is still important. These are all important, but it's lower. It's lower amounts of time. So the next one here is branding. So this is a slow burner, okay? Branding. It's long term, it's the most important thing you can do, right? Long term. But I'm talking about day-to-day activity, right? Not over 5 years' time, what would be the most important, because that would be the most important. But just day-to-day. Even though this list is all important, just day-to-day, you just need to be thinking about your branding. What's your next move with branding? Do you need to update all your shop assets? Do you need to sort out your social media if you're using social media for branding? Is it all consistent? Is it all together? Right? So day to day, you shouldn't be spending all your time branding, even though it's really, really important. So day to day, the timing is low. Okay? So maybe 20 minutes, half an hour, 40 minutes, an hour, right? As opposed to things like photography and video, which probably will be taking 2 hours a day, depending on what you're doing. And then your listing, your pipelining and research. Do you see how the time builds up over your Etsy day? Because people say, Nick, you know, what should I be doing? You know, what do I fill my time with? Do you see how much stuff? This is only the top 7 things. There's loads of other stuff you've got to sort out that's not even on this list. But this is the most important stuff. So branding, and then shop setup. So that's kind of related to branding, okay? So shop setup is one of those things that you've got to do it, and it's all the assets of your store: seller icon, store icon, banner, about page, right? There is not a single Etsy seller, apart from if it's my client, I've ever seen set up their shop correctly. Can you believe that? In 2025. I can go and look now, right now, you go and look. Don't take my word for this, trust me on this. Go to Etsy, look for any store you want. It doesn't matter who they are, how big they are, how famous they are. Have they filled in all their about page text, photos and video? Go and look. I promise you, you won't find one. If you do, you are very, very lucky. Have a look, you won't find it. So shop setup, it's low to medium importance, meaning you got to do it. It works with branding, and long term, this would be right at the top because it's part of your branding, but just day to day, get it done. It's a few hours, working Canva or something like that to put all your assets together, right? It's low. All right? And the final one, no surprise to some of you when I say this, but really, I don't know how to be more clear with this, right? SEO. Okay? You've got to understand you are being misled by vast swathes of the YouTube community, TikTok, Instagram, when they bang on and on about SEO because they all want you to buy SEO tools that are ineffective, they don't work. They want you to believe they work, but they don't, okay? There's other functions in these tools that are useful, okay? I'm not bashing them on some of the parts of these tools. Some of them are useful. Keeping an eye on competitors, listing counts, when stores opened, all that stuff, right? Okay, it's useful. But the core function is to sell you SEO services, and they do not work. I don't know how more clear I can be, right? So, SEO, green, meaning it is of the lowest importance. You shouldn't be spending. People spend the amount of time on photography and video on SEO. They really, really do. Maybe you're one of them. Ask yourself, how much time do you spend a week on SEO? If it's any more than an hour or two, you are wasting your time. It should be quick and easy. But YouTube and the companies would have you believe it's the most important thing ever. It's not. It really isn't. So SEO is low. Timing is low. Okay, you don't need to spend. On my SEO videos, I talk about 10 minutes a listing. That's it. Once you've got your keyword sets and everything worked out, you find the difference with the odd keyword here and there. That's it. It's 10 or 15 minutes. Why would you spend an hour or 2 hours messing around with words for a listing? If you step back, you realize it's absolutely bonkers. Bonkers. So this is what you're doing in your Etsy store, right? This takes time. So when people say, well, what do I do for 3 or 4 hours? This is what you do. There's loads of other stuff. Postage, packaging, gift wrapping, you know, personalization, customization, themes, sets, bundles. I can add another 10 things to this list if you want me to. If my whiteboard went down here and my camera would film it, I'd do it, but it won't. So there's 8 hours a day of work you can put into your Etsy store. And anyone that comes to me to challenge and say, what do I do for 8 hours? I'll find you 8 hours of work every single time. And it starts with this lot. So let me know, now that I've actually broken this up in a visual way to understand, does this help you about where you should be spending your time? I know it's crazy, but I believe people don't know where to spend time in their Etsy store. And if they do, they're doing it in the wrong places, like SEO. So get into my comments. Let me know about this video. Loads more content like this is coming. Let me know if you like this. And if you want to work with me, don't wait. Don't guess. I keep telling you guys, work with me. The Book In Now button is coming up on your screen. Takes you to a one-to-one calendar link to book a free call with me on Zoom so that I can help you build and grow a successful Etsy business. I look forward to catching you in the comments and catching you in the consultations. Cheers.